3.3 major project 4, staying focused. I'm still researching the idea of armour, and I've collected and collated some in-depth research, but I have also wanted to bring in the elements of the research of the playground with the various shapes and colours. And what is reoccurring within the work, which has stemmed back to earlier research areas of my previous projects through dyslexia, are the ideas of stripes and lines. My research with the creative playground, I'd started to make the connections with tubes. So this was building up lines, stripes and tubes. Rather than keep wanting to decorate some of my knitted fabrics with multi-mix media, I actually wanted to start to push the element of the knitwear into design ideas and design concepts, because I have to start to develop these and move these ideas forward for construction. For the body, this could be a garment, or what I'm wanting to work on are elements of body armour. And this piece developed of its own accord. I made a smaller version in 3.2, but never pushed the idea forward enough. But I returned to this sample, and basically the sample was constructed to form padded tubes on a flat surface of knit. These tubes were then gathered together with a yarn and then tightly pulled taut alternately on either side of the structure. This now has given me a flexible, movable tube which I can play with. It's soft to touch, it's very tactile, but the object has of its own accord begun to form a three-dimensional shape which can be dressed to the body and use the body as a platform. So this could either be a structure for an armoured shoulder, or at some point I was thinking, or which I will do for the beginning of project 5, I'm going to go large scale with this piece and make 4, 5, 6 pieces and connect them so that then they will become a garment that will dress the body, allocating movement and structure around the three-dimensional shape of the body. This will then engage with ideas of performance, durability, and it will be interesting to explore this on a larger scale. I'm not too sure on the colour palette at the moment. The colour palette was taken from some foam discs which I've used in a previous large scale sample, but each time I return to this and interrogate the piece of how I'm going to push this idea forward, I think the colour palette is a starting point. The colour palette has been particularly difficult with this assignment work because of the danger of falling down the route of primary colours which are associated with creative playgrounds, but it's trying to adapt a colour palette that's going to be slightly different, that has a little bit of a tweak to it to make it slightly different. As to yet, when I make the larger scale samples, whether I will use a colourful palette or use the idea of the Bauhaus, where their three-dimensional ballet pieces were just 3 colours used in the colour palette. So that feels like an interesting concept to move with. I have sustained staying with a grey yarn because that makes connections with the armour palettes that I've been using through my knitted creative yarns. And the reason why in this particular piece I've used an Aran yarn to generate the idea of a metallic wire is because it would be too costly to be able to knit the entire object in a metallic yarn. So at the moment these pieces are constructed as prototypes, but to demonstrate the idea of performance textiles. But also one thing that I am looking at is the idea is still there with the Century textile, the softness, the playfulness of the object. And I think through further development this will kind of be able to be placed anywhere on the body. It could be used as a mask, or it could be used as a hat, as previously mentioned, against the arm or the leg, or the present idea of working with it attached across the torso and allow the object to fall of its own accord, but it has the idea of lightweight armour to be used for protection.